Welcome to IELTS Listening. Today, we study IELTS 20 Test 4, Part 2, A Tour of a Football Stadium. This section has 10 questions in total. There are 2 groups of multiple-choice questions and 1 matching task. These questions use 2 main skills, elimination and information capture. This grouping helps us quickly see the question type and use the right skill. This talk is given by a tour guide. It has 3 main parts. In the first part, we look at 2 multiple-choice questions about the stadium facilities. This part covers questions 11 and 12. In the second part, we look at 2 more multiple-choice questions about the stadium's history. This part covers questions 13 and 14. In the third part, we have a matching task about different areas of the stadium. This part covers questions 15 to 20. The structure is clear. Questions 11 to 14 are in the first 2 parts, and questions 15 to 20 are in the third part. Remember, the questions follow the same order as the recording. Don't go back to questions you've already answered. Okay, next we look at questions 11 and 12. This is the first group of multiple-choice questions. Questions 11 and 12. Which 2 things are happening today at the sports center? A. Children can get their photo taken with a football player. B. There is a competition for children today. C. Parents must stay with their children at all times. D. Children will need sun hats and drinks. E. The cafe has a special offer on meals for children. Please pause the video and try these questions yourself. This is a multiple-choice double question. We need to select 2 correct options from 5. Our strategy is to check each option one by one against the audio. Listen to the full recording before making a final decision. Be careful. The speaker might mention an option first, but then reject it later. Option A. Children can get their photo taken with a football player. The audio mentions football players, but it says children can watch them train, not take photos with them. This option is mentioned, but the content doesn't match, so it's incorrect. Option B. There is a competition for children today. The audio clearly states there's a competition for children today and mentions prizes are medals. This option is explicitly confirmed, so it is one of the correct answers. Option C. Parents must stay with their children at all times. The audio clearly says parents are required to stay with their children at all times and explains it's a safety rule. This option is explicitly confirmed, so it is the second correct answer. Option D. Children will need sun hats and drinks. The audio mentions it's hot and suggests bringing hats and water, but it says suggest, not need. This option is partially mentioned, but the degree doesn't match, so it's incorrect. Option E. The cafe has a special offer on meals for children. The audio mentions the cafe, but it says they have healthy snacks, not a special offer on children's meals. This option is not mentioned, so it's incorrect. The first correct answer is B. There is a competition for children today. The audio clearly mentions this activity. The second correct answer is C. Parents must stay with their children at all times. The audio clearly states this safety rule. The answers for Q11, 12 are B and C. Next, let's move on to the multiple-choice double answers section for Q13, 14. Questions 13 and 14. Which 2 special services does the museum offer? Options: A. VIP tour. B. 360 cinema experience. C. Audio guide. D. Dressing room tour. E. Tours in other languages. Pause to answer. This is a double-choice question. We need to pick 2 correct options. Strategy: check each option one by one, listen to the full recording before deciding, and don't rush to choose after hearing just one. Option A. VIP tour. The recording mentions the museum offers a VIP tour with a dedicated guide, allowing access to areas not open to the public. This is clearly mentioned. Option B. 360 cinema experience. The recording mentions a cinema, but it's a regular one, not a 360-degree experience. This is a distractor, something not mentioned. Option C. Audio guide. The recording clearly states the museum provides audio guide devices available in multiple languages. This is directly mentioned and fits the question. Option D. Dressing room tour. The recording does not mention a dressing room or any tour of it at all. This is a distractor, completely made up. Option E. Tours in other languages. The recording mentions foreign language tours, but this is part of the audio guide service, not a separate tour, so it cannot be counted as an independent option. The first correct answer is A, VIP tour. This service is clearly mentioned in the recording. The second correct answer is C, audio guide. This service is also clearly mentioned. So the answers for Q13 and Q14 are A and C. Next, let's move on to the matching section for Q1 520. Q15. Match the year 1870 with the correct historical event. Options: A. Introduction of offside rule. B. Introduction of goal. C. Introduction of referee. D. Introduction of goalkeeper. Please pause the video to test yourself. The key word in the question is the year 1870. Expect to hear 1870 and related changes to football rules. Note the synonym, goalkeeper might be replaced by guard the goal. Located in the middle of the audio, the signpost sentence is, 1870 was also the year that football teams started to include a player whose role it was to guard the goal. Here, guard the goal matches option D, goalkeeper. Q15 answer is D. The audio clearly states that in 1870, football teams started to include a player whose role was to guard the goal, which is the goalkeeper. Question 16. Match the year 1874 with the correct historical event. Options: A. Introduction of goal nets. B. Introduction of penalty kicks. C. Introduction of referee's whistle. D. Introduction of red and yellow cards. E. Introduction of substitution rules. F. Introduction of sending off rules. G. Introduction of halftime end swap. Please pause the video and try to match it yourself first. The key word in the question is the year 1874. In the recording, we need to listen carefully for what rule changes follow this year. Note that more than one thing might have happened in this year. Located in the middle of the audio, the script says, in 1874, referees were allowed to send players off if they committed certain offenses. And also in that year, teams started having to swap ends at halftime. Two events are mentioned here, sending off and swapping ends. We need to see which options are in the list. Option F is introduction of sending off rules, and option G is introduction of halftime end swap. The question only asks for one match, but the audio mentions two. This is a trap. The answer for question 16 is F. The audio clearly mentions send players off, which perfectly matches option F, introduction of sending off rules. Although swapping ends was also mentioned, the question asks for a match for 1874, and sending off is the first event mentioned and directly corresponds to option F. Q17. Match the year 1875 with the correct option. Options: A. Goalposts first used. B. Crossbar introduced. C. Net invented. Pause the video to test yourself. Anchor keyword: 1875. Expectation: the recording will mention a change in 1875. Pay attention to descriptions related to goal design. Located in the middle of the recording, audio says, in 1875, that tape was replaced with the solid crossbar that we're familiar with today. Signal word replaced with indicates replacement. Crossbar matches option B. Q17 answer is B. In 1875, the crossbar was introduced to replace the previous tape. Q18. The stem is 1877. Options: A. Match time reduced. B. New rules introduced. C. Audience numbers increased. D. Club numbers decreased. E. Stadium expanded. F. Professionalism began. G. Match numbers increased. H. Match time limit. Pause to answer. Keyword: 1877. Expect the audio to mention an event in 1877. Listen for a description matching an option. Located in the information block, audio says, 1877 saw the founding of further new clubs, and in the same year, all the clubs decided to set a limit of 90 minutes for each match. The signpost set a limit of 90 minutes matches option H. Match time limit, Q18 answer, is H. In 1877, all clubs decided to set a 90-minute limit for each match, matching option H. Q19. Match the year 1878 with the correct change. Options: A. Introduction of offside rule. B. Introduction of referee whistles. C. Introduction of floodlights for night matches. Please pause the video and try it yourself. The key word is the year 1878. We expect the audio to mention this year and describe a specific change. Be ready for synonyms. Floodlights might be replaced by electric lamps. Located in the middle of the audio, the speaker says, by 1,878, the number of teams increased. In addition, referees started using whistles and electric lamps were installed on certain pitches. The signal phrase, in addition, introduces two changes, but electric lamps matches floodlights, which is option C. Q19, answer is C. In 1878, electric lamps were installed on pitches, which means floodlights for night matches were introduced. Question 20. The item is 1,880. Please match it with a letter from the options list. Options: A. The introduction of pay for the players. B. The formation of the first professional club. C. The introduction of gate sharing. D. The establishment of a national league. E. The introduction of foreign players. F. The sale of television rights. G. Clubs began to charge fans for admission to games. Please pause the video and try it yourself first. The key word in the stem is the year 1,880. In the recording, we need to track this year and listen for the event that follows it. Also, be aware of possible synonyms for the options. For example, pay for the players might be replaced by salary or wage, and charge fans might be replaced by admission fee or ticket price. Now, let's locate the part of the recording about 1,880. The audio clip says, in 1,880, clubs began to charge fans for admission to games, even though players were still amateurs and had other proper jobs. The key signal phrase here is charge fans for admission, which directly matches option G. Clubs began to charge fans for admission to games. Notice that although it mentions players were amateurs, it does not say that pay for players was introduced, so option A is a distractor. The answer for question 20 is G. The recording clearly states that in 1880, clubs began to charge fans for admission to games, which perfectly matches option G. The answer, stamp drops. Okay, we have finished all the questions. Now let's look back at the key skills we used today. Today, we saw this situation many times. The recording mentions some information, but then adds many extra words to change its meaning. This skill is called strong distractors and modifiers. The key is to not decide too early. You must listen to the whole sentence before you choose. For example, in questions 11 and 12, the speaker first said football museum, but then quickly corrected it to football club museum. We must wait for the extra words before we pick the answer. There is another situation. The recording gives some information first, but the real answer comes much later. There are many details in between. This skill is called delayed information and limited modifiers. The key is to be patient. Do not write the answer as soon as you hear one word. For example, in question 15, the speaker first said 1,870, but the answer goalkeeper came much later. There was a lot of information about game rules in between. We need to be patient and listen to the end. The last situation is that some words in the recording are spoken very fast, very quietly, or are linked together. This makes them hard to hear. This skill is called weak pronunciation and connected speech. The key is to listen many times and get used to these pronunciation changes. For example, in question 19, the speaker said 1,878 very fast, and electric lamps was linked together. It sounded like electric lamps. We need to listen several times to catch this word. One final reminder. These skills often appear together in the listening test. When you do the test, stay calm. Do not let the distractors confuse you. Listen to all the information patiently before you write your answer. Finally, let's learn some very important vocabulary from this listening passage. The first word is wander off. It means to walk away from a group or a parent. In the recording, the speaker said, "Don't let your children wander off." This word often appears in listening tests. The second word is crossbar. It is the horizontal bar at the top of a football goal. In the recording, the speaker said, "In 1875, the tape was replaced with the solid crossbar." This word is common in sports listening. That is all for this section. I hope it was helpful. See you in the next lesson.